They said the noise that night wasn't normal. That voice belonged to Daniel, a young man who had worked for years, chasing a dream everyone around him called impossible. But what no one knew was that hours before, he had faced the biggest humiliation of his life. Earlier that day, Daniel walked into an audition room he had practiced months for. He believed this was finally his moment. But before he could even finish his introduction, the panel interrupted him. "Not you again," one of them sighed. "We already know you don't have what it takes." Laughter filled the room, not cruel, loud laughter, but the quiet kind that hurts even more. Daniel's hands shook, his voice cracked, and the only thing heavier than the silence was the weight of rejection crushing his chest. It wasn't just an audition. It was the last chance he promised himself he'd take. So when he walked home, drenched in disappointment, the world around him felt colder, smaller, and painfully unfair. But later that night, something changed. As he sat in his tiny room, ready to give up on the dream he had sacrificed everything for, he noticed an old notebook under his bed, his father's notebook. Inside were words Daniel had forgotten. "A man fails only when he stops trying. Keep walking. Your moment is coming." The handwriting was shaky, but the message hit him like lightning. He closed the book, stood up, and felt something he hadn't felt in months. Fight. The next morning at sunrise, while the city still slept, Daniel began again. Not for applause, not for approval, but for himself. He trained harder than ever, voice cracking, knees shaking, lungs burning. Day after day, week after week. And while the world still doubted him, something inside him began to ignite. Months later, he returned to another audition. Same industry, different room, same dream. But this time, he didn't enter like someone begging for validation. He walked in like someone who had already transformed. His performance wasn't perfect, no. It was powerful, honest, unstoppable. When he finished, the room was silent. Then slowly, applause. Real applause. And the same people who once mocked him? They now leaned forward, eyes wide, asking, "Where have you been hiding this version of yourself?" He smiled, not in pride but in gratitude, because the truth was simple. His breakthrough didn't happen the day he succeeded. It happened the night he refused to quit. So if you're watching this and life has pushed you to the edge, if you're tired, rejected, overlooked, or underestimated, remember Daniel. Remember that sometimes all you need is one moment of courage, one decision to keep going, one breath that says, "I'm not done yet." Your moment is coming. But it can only find you if you're still moving. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories that push you to rise higher and never give up.